All right. Well,
discuss. But go ahead and
hello,
bring up the
ladies and
video.
gentlemen. This is the Atheist Ranger, and I was actually hoping to avoid this, but I'm going to be responding to some Reese's videos, or one big video that he made about a recent hangout of mine. So let's just get to the chase.
I mean, the only reason I'm here is because he also responded to my video at the very beginning. I like how he calls you all regressive bronies. Except
Yeah,
I'm the only brony here, and I wasn't even there for this. So
yeah. I mean, the only bronies I talked
oh,
to,
he said he might come in. So let's just play the video. He said he might come in.
yeah, I mean, the only ones I know of are you and Atheist Brony, and you guys weren't even there.
Yeah, neither of us were there, and atheist brony's vehemently against Islam. I know,
Yeah.
and I don't think he even knows atheist brony exists unless he recognizes him from the drunken peasants hint.
Or maybe he knows them
Anyway,
as blind reacts like I do. But yeah.
It's Reese from the Nightmare Fuel podcast, and
yes, we know who.
Rabbit hole of regression. I have lately been challenging regressives on Islam, and as we all know, this is a subject they aren't very comfortable on.
I'm very comfortable with the subject. Just saying.
Yeah, as am I.
For all the bullshit excuses, and it's quite amusing. First, we're going to respond to a video.
No excuses from me, Reese. Sorry.
Same here.
Brony. I kid you not.
Oh my gosh.
Responded to me.
How dare a brony
would
respond to someone of your magnitude, Reese? How dare they do that? How dare I?
Enjoy.
Oh God, my hair.
Nightmare Fuel podcast. I wanted to clear something up real quick because you did criticize my Atheist Ranger on his new series, Christianity.
Oh, I have to hear myself talk. This is
I don't feel like you're informed here because the reason he's doing a series called Christianity is Cancer is because he already co-hosts Islam is Cancer with me on my channel.
All right, I think he interjects here.
Misinformed. See, I had no doubt that Atheist Ranger being an
I know. Okay, stop. Reese, I know. I don't care whether or not this was a video I made. It was about a minute long. I just crawled out of bed. I was stoned out of my mind. This video was not meant to be an argument or a refutation of anything you had said because I agreed with a lot of what you criticized Atheist Ranger on. This was just me making sure you knew that he actually does cover Islam in depth with me. That's all this was. It was just me trying to inform you. I didn't mean anything by this video, okay?
Sized Islam and took issue with it as a religion. My issue with the video that we watched on
I know, I agree with your issues. Just fuck you.
From Atheist Ranger, which was an inspired new series, Christianity is Cancer, is that he's
okay, yeah, I will admit that's probably not the most word to use.
Yeah, it's not like it was inspired by me. It was more like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess inspired is the only right word to use, like just in terms of like vocabulary, but it is more of just him saying, all right, I'm going to do the same thing you're doing with Christianity. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
After Christians told him that Islam wasn't a religion of peace. And he was so vengeful.
No,
I was not vengeful against that. I'm just... Oh, man.
I mean, no. Reese, that's not the reason... Like, yeah, that's what he cited in the video, but the real reason that he was doing this was to be a parallel series with my series. We were going to have two series going. That's the reason he did this. It wasn't like any sort of outrage, particular outrage. He just cited a few examples of Christians doing X, and we were going to cover stuff like that on the series. That's what that was. It wasn't, all right, I'm so angry about this thing that I'm going to cover it. It was meant to be a parallel series with my series.
Yes, and as far as Christianity being religion of peace, to me it's still not. I mean, it still to this day promotes discrimination against certain people.
Right.
And
I mean, I don't see any, like, you know, he even said he has no problem with you covering Christianity. So I think this whole discussion is predicated. Also, he paused that at the worst time. Just saying. Anyway, it's all predicated on a misunderstanding, I think, and I will say, Atheist Ranger is not very good at articulating what he's talking about.
No, I usually never am.
Yeah, that's something that it's just a problem he has. Yeah, he's trying to work on that, and I think this whole thing is predicated on a misunderstanding.
Well,
that was the goal of this video, really.
Yeah, I mean, when I made that point, I was just pointing out Christian extremists judging Islamic extremists. That to me, and this is my opinion, that to me is just hypocrisy.
Well, it is hypocrisy. You're right.
Yeah, if you go down the list.
Well, I mean, it depends on what do you mean by extremist?
Okay, someone like Steve Anderson or what's that fucking dude's name? Shubat.
Theodore Shubat.
Yeah, I'm talking about those type of people.
Yeah, but like. Theodore Shubat and Steve Anderson are never going to do violence in the name of their religion. I think this is where you and I disagree a little bit here.
Well, I mean, to me, I somewhat disagree because I personally think if they had that chance, they would fucking do it.
Well, if they wanted to do violence in the name of their religion, they would have done it already, surely.
Except a point that the Christians were right on that he decided to go.
And yes, they're right.
I never acknowledged that they weren't. That was a strong man you got. I never said they weren't right.
He's saying this to me. I agree with him here. This is something I agree with you on, Reese. Continue.
And I never said they weren't right. When in the video did I say they were wrong?
It's stereotypical, and I didn't think that the atheist community needed to be saturated with more shit against Christianity.
Then don't watch it.
Point we were making.
That's exactly the point I made during the hangout. If you don't like,
just don't watch it. You don't want to watch Christian content anymore. Don't watch it.
And also refuting the ridiculous claims and the false equivalence between these religions.
I mean, I don't think Atheist Ranger made any bullshit claims, though I do agree that he did kind of do a false equivalence there.
I never said that they were equal when it came to violence, Reese. I've never claimed that. That is something you have pretty much. I mean, if that's what.
That's a straw man, if anything.
Yes, I never implied that. And if you think I implied that, that's again what Stalinist was saying. It was just a misunderstanding. I never implied that ever.
Was strongly implying by even daring to bring up the Planned Parenthood shooter. It was an absurd video, and we tore it to pieces.
Stop.
Don't.
All right. He's acknowledged on multiple occasions that Islam has a higher body count than Christianity. He's also said he doesn't care. Atheist, you've also said you don't care. I disagree with you there. I think that's a very important fact, and that's actually what made me want to start covering Islam more. Really, what I wanted to do when I started my Islamist Cancer series is two things. One, I wanted to criticize all this violence, and two, I realized I had not covered Islam before, and this was a brand new thing for me to sink my teeth into. So, I mean...
Well, I guess me saying not care was a little heartless at the time. And yes, in fact, I will say publicly, I do retract that statement. But, to me...
There we go.
No, yes. Fuck, what I was about to say. To me, by having them in the same conversation, what I'm implying is that both of these religions are toxic and they need to be wiped out from fucking existence. That is what I am talking about, Reese, when I bring these two into conversations. I've never said that they were equal when it came to violence in any way.
Come at us and say, oh, you must just be ignorant. He talks about Islam. I have heard the man talk about Islam to my face, and I was not impressed. So
I don't give a flying fuck about your impression, Reese. I don't need it.
I mean, at the very least, you could, you could say, all right, this is why I'm not impressed by your fucking coverage of Islam.
Exactly.
Like, what are your problems? Like, why do you think his arguments are weak? I mean, I suppose if he comes in here, like he said he might, he can discuss that here.
Yeah. Well, if not, I mean, I may have a hangout tomorrow.
That's why he's going to be doing Christianity's Cancer, and I'm going to be doing Islam's.
I don't even see the point of him playing the rest of this video. He's already responded to me. I mean, he interjects again at the end.
I'm
And
sure.
I think he says something along the lines of "comb your fucking hair," which I agree with.
From my understanding, we're going to be co-hosting each other. So that way we can cover the two major Abrahamic religions. He's more comfortable doing Christianity because he knows more about it.
Well, isn't that a surprise? Atheist Ranger is more comfortable covering Christianity. Gee, I wonder why. Does it have anything to do with the fact that all atheists cover Christianity? Hell, I still cover Christianity from time to time. But I keep that conversation in context to what is a bigger threat to me.
See, stop
Okay,
the video for a
Reese.
sec.
I live in a country where it's majority Christian, so yeah, I'm going to talk about a religion that mostly affects me, and I'm sorry, but that to me that's somewhat not Islam. Okay, Islam only takes up 1% of our country. Now, if you're talking about worldwide, let me say this disclaimer: worldwide, yes, it is a bigger threat, but when it comes to just America, it's not.
And when we do these two series side by side, that's not us comparing the two at all. Really, what it is just we're using them both as content fodder. That's what this is. That's
Yeah.
what these series are. It's just content that we're creating that we thought it'd be cool to have them like
Side
two
by
separate
side.
side by side.
And not to be a dick here, but I mean, do I come on your podcast and tell you how to run it? I just don't see why you insist on this.
I feel like covering Islam more. We co-host each other's series. That's what's going on. Please don't misconstrue what he's saying. Construe what he's saying because
Again, I was stoned. That's my excuse here.
not misconstrue, but please go at it informed. He is co-hosting a series with me.
They're right there. That statement. Go at it informed.
Yes.
That was me saying, all right, Reese, this is just so you know, this is what's happening. Like before you get into an argument, this is happening. Because what I did not want him to do is be like, you need to cover Islam more. It's like, well, he is. Like, just that's what this video was. I wasn't trying to refute anything that Reese had said.
Yeah.
It wasn't an argument against Reese. That's why I was slightly shocked that he actually did a video response to it, because I didn't think I said anything that he could disagree with. All I said was, hey, this is what's happening. Anyway, continue.
Jesus, comb your hair. Ugh.
Listen,
Yeah,
I already gave my excuse for that. So
we're doing an entire series on Islam. I'm sure it's going to get deep into the poll results from Muslim countries.
well, that's not really what the series is. I mean, poll results. Like, what am I supposed to do with poll results? It's like, okay, 90% of Muslims in fucking Fuckistan believe that we should kill adulterers. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that in terms of content? I could say it's disgusting, it's bad, this is wrong, but all that shit's already been said. That's why we're going after what the imams are teaching, like specifically, is my way of framing the argument. I don't understand, like, because poll results are useless to me in terms of content.
Yes. And that's why I'm going after, and I'm gonna be honest with fucking the new Christian series. I'm mainly going to be going after probably faith healers.
We already did last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was I dreaming that? Okay.
No, we did it. Anyway.
Believe. Not just what the imams teach. What your average Muslim believes. Ooh, are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes, we are comfortable with that.
I am 100% comfortable with going after what individual Muslims believe.
And
That's the whole point. That's the point of the series, was to go after these ideas.
And for you to even sit there and imply that we don't, I'm sorry, you're just lying.
Handle those statistics.
Yes, I can handle those statistics.
At this point,
I already know the statistics. I have a general idea of what the statistics are. I can't cite, exact numbers for particular countries, but I know they're insanely horrible. I know it's something like 97% in Afghanistan think we should kill adulterers, and like 70% are okay with oppressing women in like Syria or something. I know it's stuff in that region.
to get into the fucking response from these goobers. So I had left the hangout at this point, and so had Esau. But they continued to talk about us, but they knew that because we weren't there. See, there was no one to challenge them, so discussing Islam was far off the table. It was a whole lot of basically blame the messenger. I can't. Oh, how.
Okay, no, we changed the subject because the topic at hand had run its fucking course. It had nothing to do with us being uncomfortable with talking about Islam. It had nothing to do with it. You left, the topic at hand got boring, so we moved on. That's what happens in Hangouts, Reese.
Dare they? Let's talk about Christianity. That kind of shit. Play it.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, believe it or not, even after all this, I still don't have no bad blood between me and Reese.
It's still true.
I mean, that's still fucking true, and I'm sure he's gonna say something derogatory.
And if he comes in here, we can,
But on this subject, I am offended by your weakness. I'm offended by your obfuscation. I'm offended by your bullshit excuses.
What excuses have I made, Reese? You didn't at all make that clear in the Hangout. What excuses do you think I'm implying?
In a certain way, you speak for me.
No, I don't. I speak for myself, and that's it. I've never claimed to speak for you, or Stonas Boney, or anyone that comes into my Hangouts. And to go even further, anyone that comes into my Hangouts does not speak for me.
Yeah.
The atheist community. And I expect more from someone who identifies himself as an anti-theist.
I'm sorry, but for him to sit there and ask me to ignore the evils of Christianity now, and despite what he may think there is.
See,
and
he's right here.
There still is. Yeah.
Right here, he would have a point. If you had just not talked about Islam ever, and you had said, "Don't expect me to ignore the evils of Christianity," Reese would have more of a point here. But you do talk about Islam, and you do it with me. And in fact, we have a whole series dedicated specifically to criticizing Islam. And that's why this doesn't make any sense to even leave this in here.
Yes, I mean, to me, if his problem is that I don't talk about it on my channel, well, I don't know. Maybe one day I fucking will, but I already co-host something with you, and to be honest, yeah. For him to sit there and ask me to ignore the evils of Christianity simply because right now Islam's body count is higher, I'm not gonna fucking do it. I'm good, yeah, because I want both of them. They are both my concerns. That's what I meant when I made that. When I
watched this video last night, and I had just taken a hit off a bong, and he's sitting there with the top of the skull like cut off, and I'm trying to scroll up because I thought I'd accidentally scrolled down. So fuck you, Reese.
This is complete bullshit. I never asked you to stop talking about Christianity.
Then what's the problem here? I don't see where the disagreement lies.
Yeah. Even now, I'm still fucking confused because you didn't exactly make your disagreement clear. I mean, if your disagreement is that I'm having them in the same conversation, yeah, they're both toxic religions. That's why I'm having them in the same conversation. I never said they were equally toxic.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Bible and the Quran are comparable books just as books alone, right?
Yeah.
But when you take the effect of the Bible on the world and the effect of Islam on the world, or the Quran on the world, you get two very different orders of magnitude in terms of harm. Islam is way farther in terms of harm on the world. But as a set of ideas alone, they are roughly comparable. That's why we were having this that's why we were doing this.
Yes.
Whatever you want. I'm just saying that it's not extremely productive to bring up both religions in the same conversation.
Yeah, it kind of is when they're both toxic, and even Christianity, while it may not be doing as much damage as Islam, it's still doing damage today. To take Stonas Boney's point, Christianity today is like secondhand smoke. Yeah, it doesn't cause much damage, but it's still causing it. So yes, I have every right to bring them both up in conversations.
Because it would imply an equivalence, and that is unacceptable. Also,
which I never ever did, Reese. That is what.
Again, that depends on. That depends on what the specific context of the conversation is. Are we talking about Islam and Christianity as sets of ideas, or Islam and Christianity as entities in the world? Because they're not equal as entities in the world, but they are roughly comparable as sets of ideas.
I was mainly talking about, I think, sets of ideas.
Yeah, that was what I thought you were talking about. So I
Yes,
mean,
I was talking about as sets of ideas. I mean, trust me, I'm sure there's plenty of Muslims who do faith healing as well.
probably.
Islam's body count has always been higher, and it will always be higher. The text of Islam is worse than Christianity.
Percentage-wise, he is correct here.
Well, yeah, which again I've never denied. So
I mean, like the
Quran. Point.
the Quran is a shorter book, and it has more violence in it, like as a percentage, than the Bible. But the Bible has more like individual passages calling for violence. So I mean, yes, you're right. The Quran is probably worse than the Bible as a set of like as a text document, like just in the ideas that I don't know how to fucking say this. Just continue.
Yeah, well, just the bottom line, they're both bad books. So to sit there and
Well,
say,
yeah.
to sit there and say I can't bring them both up in conversations, if they're both bad books, I can.
Your atheism 1.0 head around that.
I never did get those citations, did I?
Exactly, and
These statistics that show that on
I
average,
mean, I'm not going to argue on behalf of the doctor or anyone else in this hangout. I'm going to argue.
I'm not going to respond at this point. Well, there was I think he brought it. I think later in the hangout he did say that the 97% that Reese brought up. I think it said something along the lines of 90% of the world's terrorist attacks are because of religion. Yet I think in the hangout Reese was saying it's 97% because of Muslims.
I know it's insanely high, but I don't think it's that high. I don't know. I don't have the statistic in front of me.
So I think we may just skip that part.
Muslims hold more fucked up beliefs than Christians are public fucking knowledge. Here's an example. Stream and provide citations for your sorry ass. That sounds like I was not busy at all. I wasn't fending off regressives left and right. Google your own stats, you weakling.
Just real quick, I'm not going to ignore the fact that the majority of Christians are pretty much bending over backwards to still protect faith healers, which, by the way, is killing young kids, and infants.
The majority of Christians do not support faith healers. That is bullshit. And
no, it's not. I mean, maybe not most, and I will admit I did misspeak out of anger, but a good portion of them still do, Reese.
Well, I mean, that depends on the area you're in as well. I mean,
yes.
Like in the South where there's a lot of Baptists, you don't see a lot of faith healing. But in like Idaho, Utah, you see some faith healing over there. But like this is one of the points I wanted to challenge you on. I don't think that faith healing is this widespread thing that you seem to think it is. I mean, it is bullshit and it is dangerous. Yeah, it is bullshit and it's dangerous. But you implied here in this part of the hangout that you that it's this huge issue, which it's really not. It is fun to poke fun at, though, so I'll keep doing it.
Well, yeah, and the whole most thing, yes, I will admit, yeah, that was something stupid that I said out of anger. I'm sure that it is not most, but a good portion of Christians still do want to protect faith healers, and I have a fucking problem with that. And if I have a problem with something, I'm going to fucking talk about it, regardless of if you like it or not.
You know it.
Well, that and who is responsible for the huge anti-LGBT propaganda and laws in Uganda and Nigeria?
Exactly. I mean,
fundamentalist Christians.
Exactly. I mean,
laws that didn't even pass. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Now, I'll grant.
Wait, what? I'm pretty sure
the laws in Uganda and Nigeria did pass.
Exactly.
Those laws are in place.
And was it a lot of these quote unquote Christian nations in Africa are doing the same. Well, not maybe not completely, but they are doing the same thing these Muslim countries are doing. They're also killing gays, killing atheists, killing or imprisoning anyone that disagrees with their religion
Right. I mean, it's not
or their political ideologies.
right, and I mean, like he is correct in saying that Nigeria and Uganda. They don't try to export this ideology elsewhere. They tend to keep it in their contained country, which it's still dangerous within that country. It's not. It's just not directly dangerous to Western Europe or America like Islam is. So he has a point there. I agree with him. Islam is trying to export its ideology all over the world, and that makes it dangerous because they do that through violence, and their ideology is just bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Let's grant you that coveted Uganda. The numbers are still not even close. Throw whatever bullshit examples you have at me, and Islam will win by fucking far.
I don't care.
I mean, I have no doubt.
Religions.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
well,
sorry.
I do care. That's why I'm covering Islam.
Eh.
I still agree with Reese here.
I've admitted several times, yes, the body count is higher. That does not negate the fact in any way that they're both toxic religions that need to go, Reese. That is my argument. And I
mean, I don't think he's arguing against the fact that Christianity is. I think you're kind of strawmanning him here because I think
well,
he's not advocating you stop talking about Christianity. Again, I'm still unsure as to exactly what his disagreement is.
No, he's implying that. He's implying that I think they're the same violence-wise, and that's something I never said. I'm just simply saying they're both toxic, and I don't think that's what he understands. That's what That's what I am implying when I bring up these two religions in conversations.
They're both cancer.
Anti-LGBT sentiment. You want to talk about homophobia? How about we talk about Islam and the propaganda of ISIS that inspired a man to just kill 50 gays at a nightclub?
Yes, let's talk about that, Reese. I agree. Let's talk about that. Let's fucking tear into that. Full force, head first. Let's do it.
Okay.
I am with you. I am right beside you doing that.
I'm with you for that individual as well, Reese. But again, I do my own research as well, and it is a fact that American Muslims accept LGBT people more than Christians do. I kid you not. Especially, to be more specific, evangelicals.
And I think also I wanted to throw this in here just before I forget. Life actually did a video, something like he's trying to make fun of Nightmare Fuel podcast here or Reese
yeah,
here.
I know. I don't know what he was thinking.
I know he was kind of being an idiot. I do want to cover that here because I think he was building a huge straw man.
Yeah, it probably was my fucking best thing to do to comment on that video.
Yeah, I mean, after we're done with this video, I would like to cover it, and especially if Reese comes in here, because I'd like to hear Reese's responses.
And he had not been in contact with ISIS. That is a true virus. That is a true dangerous homophobia that is threatening you at home. And you want to sit here and say, but what about Uganda? I mean, the Christians. We're supposed to go after the Christians, right?
I never said we had to.
Yeah, that's what we as atheists do, right? I like how Ranger's just like, yeah, exactly. Gotcha. Boom. Got Uganda. You can't handle that shit, bitch. Fuck you, people.
No, I never said any of that.
He wants to talk about Muslim countries. Okay, well, what about all the fundamentalist Christian countries that are in Africa right now?
This is the heart of it. Stay on topic, you ADHD fuck. Okay?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what he means.
He was insulting me.
I know he was insulting you, but
And I was staying on topic.
yeah,
Well, maybe you're the one who needs to take some pills, you ADHD fuck.
This is what we
That was
were
weak.
criticizing you on from the get-go. We bring up Islam and the dangers that it poses to the world. And your instinct is to go after Christianity. But
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, this came after I launched my series. His series, he didn't even. By the time my first Islam is Cancer came out, he had not even thought of this series was not even a thought in his mind.
Exactly.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, this video is 35 minutes. I don't think we're going to get through it all because I think we pretty much fucking... He's going to keep making the same point over and over again.
You gonna bring up Life's video? Because I do want to respond to it.
Yeah. I think he's down here somewhere. Oh, he's having a hangout tonight.
Fuck him.
Huh.
I don't like Life. I think he's an idiot. I think he's a regressive moron. And I'm happy to tell that to his face, so if he's having a hangout tonight, I'd love to go in there and tell him I think he's a regressive moron.
Well, apparently it's at midnight, so... Yeah, just like...
Well, at midnight, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna tell him he's a regressive moron.
Damn it.
Just young Turks, just young Turks, young Turks.
I barely watch him. Relax. You know what? Do something.
Then again, they upload like 1,000 videos a day, so I mean...
Yeah. They upload...
Well, that's actually part of the reason I unsubscribe, because just fucking...
Yeah, here we are. So I'm just gonna let you handle this on your own, because
Okay.
I've got no problems with Life. I got problems with the video. I just don't have any problems with him.
Also, stop.
With those
I love the...
Oh,
Sorry.
I love the viewer discretion is advised, like as if somehow Reese is like this neo-Nazi, like fucking like he wants to kill all the Muslims and like commit genocide. Like what? No, nothing Reese said ever like even comes close to something that warrants a viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah.
okay. Because I'm probably going to get out of here, but it was interesting. I would say...
I love that.
We're listening.
What?
I love that. It was like it was interesting. It was like he was like, oh my god, why did I do this?
To what we were challenging you on.
No, I mean, I did understand.
Oh hey, he's here.
But
So what now?
He's here.
Oh,
Hey Reese,
there we
hear
are.
me?
Hey, what's up?
We're actually doing a response to Life's video because I found him to be aggressive
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
I already did that shit. Don't torture me.
Okay,
Jesus.
we won't.
No,
Alright,
you're fine.
we'll do it
Go
later.
Ahead. Go ahead if you really want to.
Well, no, he just stopped screen sharing. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But I want you to clarify what exactly you're like with no interruptions. Just what exactly your disagreement with Atheist Ranger is.
Well, I think it's explained pretty well in the last part of the video that you were playing. But and granted, I think that the other people in Hangout did this worse and did this more frequently than Ranger. And Ranger was probably the person I agreed with the most in there, to be fair. But it's this urge that I bring up the topic of Islam. We're talking about Islam, Islamic violence, and Islam's effects on culture. And the instinct is, what about Christians? What about Christianity? What has it done? It's not exactly productive to any kind of conversation. There's no reason to include the two religions in one conversation for that reason. It's not productive. It wouldn't be productive to any conversation to conflate two subjects and attempt to tackle them both at once, especially when there's such disparity between them.
Well, I mean, when me and Ranger did our two series, it wasn't necessarily that we were conflating Islam and Christianity into one thing. It was more along the lines of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we covered both of these religions side by side? I think it was more of like a content thing. It was less about the ideas and more about like it would be cool to do this.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. I cover Islam is not even my prime subject. I cover pretty much anything, but
Mostly,
that's the thing.
actually. Go ahead.
God.
I was gonna say
No,
mostly you do like Black Lives Matter and feminism and things like that. That's what at least from the podcasts I've watched, and I do watch your podcast quite frequently.
And just to clear this up real quick, the people in the Hangout, Reese, do not speak for me. So just putting that out there.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're sitting there agreeing with them and not confronting them. when they
Yeah,
say stupid
most
shit.
of
you were saying like exactly, you're right, things like that.
Yeah, most of that came out of just anger, which, yeah.
There's no need to get angry here. We can be
But
calm.
looking back at the hangout, I was shaking my head. So most of that quote-unquote agreement was out of anger, which I shouldn't have done.
Well, I mean, it just
And-
adds fuel to that fire.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it does.
for adding fuel to that fire, I do thoroughly apologize for that.
I think this is a better
That is one of my
platform.
bad. That's one of my bad habits that I've done my entire life. Whenever I get angry with someone, I just agree with the opponent.
You just de facto go to whoever's disagreeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I felt this was a more productive way to have this conversation with fewer people here to fucking disagree with.
Sure.
But,
See, no, yeah, that wasn't a good setting because I go in there and I'm trying to bring up the subject and I'm trying to hit on points and people are just shitting down my throat left and right. So yeah, no, not a good setting.
and I wanted to talk about your response to me because that's the only reason I'm actually here.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
It was. I agree, especially because you said at the end, right when you ended it, you were like, "And comb your fucking hair." And actually, I had just crawled out of bed and I was stoned out of my mind when I made that video. And I sat down, looked at myself in the camera. I was like, "Oh my god, my hair's a mess." And then you fucking, no one's gonna notice. Everything's fine. And you were like, "Comb your fucking hair." And I was like, "God damn it." But yeah,
I believe one of my commenters called you a rat-faced hobbit.
probably. I don't know. I didn't read all of them. There was a lot of insults thrown at me in your comment section that I adored. There was one of them that was like, "Oh, you're an 80-pound bag of sadness," and I was like, "Well, my brother just died, so that's kind of hurts." But besides that, so one of your commenters was like, "Dude, he looks baked as fuck," and I was like, "I actually was baked as fuck." But onto a more like. I was surprised you even did the response to me because when I did that video, I was not trying to rebuttal or refute anything you had said. I agreed with your criticism of Atheist Ranger because I didn't like how he articulated his justification for the series.
I think that feeds into a bigger point in the video that seemed to be a prevalent theme among the entire panel. And it's something that you actually see with a lot of big-name atheists, too, like people on Atheist Experience and such. They feel like they cannot be Islam apologists because they don't agree with Islam, or because they say Islam is false, or Islam has done bad things too, therefore how could I be defending Islam at any point? It's a bullshit narrative, and it's very dangerous because it makes people think that they are incapable of being part of the problem. And so that's me pointing that out. Look, I understand. He's called Atheist Ranger. I'm guessing he doesn't agree with Islam. He's probably not a fan. But that doesn't change the facts.
I know, but I wasn't trying to refute that.
I do still talk about Islam on his.
I made that video just to make sure that if you did get into a heated disagreement with Atheist Ranger, you were actually like informed about what this series was. That's what that video was.
And that's commendable. But see, look. This is important to point out. Atheist Ranger just did it. He said, I cover Islam. That's not good enough. Anyone can cover Islam. The point I'm making is I don't think, in terms of what you were saying, that you were covering it well. And I'm free to criticize whoever. You don't have to take my criticism. I criticize all kinds of people on all manner of subjects.
I know. And that's
so
actually, you actually
ridiculous.
mentioned that. You mentioned that in the video, and we actually wanted you to outline what exactly your problem. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to bump my mic. I wanted you to outline exactly what your problems with his coverage of Islam was. Like, do you think his arguments are weak? Like, what's going on here?
I think it's a lot of obfuscation, and I don't agree with conflating two religions in the same conversation just because you think they're both toxic. I don't think that's enough of a connecting factor to muddy that conversation.
Well,
it's good enough for me. That may not be good enough for you, but it's good enough.
See, look, this is like teenage drama behavior. I can criticize you on this. I have my criticism.
Yeah, no.
I don't mind if you criticize me, Reese, but when you make videos about me saying that I'm aggressive,
yeah,
I'm gonna take issue with you.
Well, then maybe don't sound regressive and hang out with a bunch of regressives.
Hold on, I will be right back. My brother just got some weed. I'm gonna go take a hit off his bong.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay, so I guess his brother's not dead.
Oh, terrible. No comment.
Now it's
Yeah.
just down to us.
Oh, yeah. This is good. I can't imagine what it'd be like if I wasn't here.
I probably would have raped him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And as to the hangout, again, I did look back at it. Yeah, there was probably with the exception of I think Doctor and maybe Quiet Atheist. Yeah, I can see why you think I hang out with regressive people, but I'm not regressive. So to what Stanis was saying, what exactly am I unimpressed with?
I mean, you played enough of the video to get to some of the pretty good points. And a lot of the beginning actually was focused on you, and it kind of devolved afterwards and became a lot of the video. A good chunk of it was dedicated to criticizing the Quiet Atheists. There was another guy who pretty much took up the tail end in terms
Yeah,
of
I
criticism.
wasn't going to defend them because I actually was in agreement with you.
Yeah, it's just
I
really
think
sad.
most of that conversation was happening when I was out of the room because I think 2 times I had to I had a BRB.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a point. You were saying that the United States created ISIS, which I think is a very disingenuous way to phrase that. It sounds very conspiratorial. What happened was we took a horrible dictator out of power, which is a good thing, by the way, and that created a power vacuum for which and a terrorist group would thrive. But we had nothing to do with the motivation for them. So but the way that that conversation gets phrased is very typical of progressive panels in a way to blame America for all problems. And it's not, it's just very dishonest, I felt.
Well, that's where I just disagree. I mean, I think if we had not took and by the way, I agree with you. He was a horrible fucking dictator. But I mean, just from what I've seen, if we had not done that, there would be no ISIS because when we took Saddam out of power, all of his generals pretty much went to these extremist groups.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just a consequence. There's never going to be a happy ending, really. We do the best we can.
I know.
And
I mean, that to me is why I don't. I'm hoping we don't stay in the Middle East forever, because whenever we leave, obviously it's gonna go to shit. There's gonna be fighting.
yeah, and I don't have any expectation. And at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of the Iraq War. I think we went in for wrong reasons, and I think we ended it shitty, but at the same time, a lot of good came out of it as well.
Yeah. I mean,
And
go
we
ahead.
don't need to sit here and take credit for ISIS. You know what? Another group would have formed. We have no control over that.
Oh, I know, but I think it's like, fuck. What's the word I'm looking for? Cause and effect. Somewhat. I mean,
What
yeah.
do
I
you
mean,
mean?
I'm not saying Saddam was a fucking evil guy, but there's a lot of evil guys around the world that obviously we wouldn't mess with right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else you guys watched. Sorry, I was kind of eating. I wasn't focusing too heavily.
How dare you? I demand attention.
Yeah, I didn't even know until some people tweeted me like, "Oh my God, this is actually gonna happen." I'm like, okay.
No, well, I even told Sonas, I said, if he comes in here, we can just talk.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Because the thing is, I do get just heated in my videos because they're for entertainment mostly.
Yeah, I kind of had to admit the name calling was a little, going a little too far there.
Nope, never too far. No, but I
For the
stand
record,
by.
for the
I
record,
stand by that
I have
point.
ADD, not ADHD.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to have triggered you, but yeah. But I still think it's a valid criticism. To focus our discussions. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Let's not bring this up. Like this is irrelevant. Basically, it'd be like saying I need to find a cure for cancer, and someone brought up the flu. Like, oh, but what about the flu? I don't really care. I'm busy at the moment. I'm focused on this one objective.
Yeah, but
Like, are you saying the flu is good? No, I'm not saying the flu is good. Fuck the flu. But I'm keeping my priorities straight.
yeah, but I mean, to me, they're just to use that metaphor and to stay in context here. To me, to me, and this is just my perspective. It doesn't have to be yours. To me, they're both toxic religions that need to fucking go. And as far as to
Did
what's wrong,
did I ever disagree with that?
oh no, I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying my fucking that's just my perspective. And I
Yeah.
haven't.
Well, see that, and that's where we reach a place of disagreement slightly, because I would argue for the most part Christianity has gone. There is no true Christianity anymore. It's dead. It can't function. And the places where it does exist are so fringe and out there and really have little effect on the rest of the world. They might have effects on their bubbles, and sure, that's a problem. And I'm not apologizing for that in any way. Deal with that. But at the
Well,
same time, it's not very productive to try to tackle these same problems at these two problems at the same exact time.
oh, again, it's just mainly for content material. I'm not making any false equivalency. And as far as not having an effect, we still have a very big political party.
I'm back.
We still have,
Sorry.
sorry,
We were just arguing like an old married couple.
yeah.
Okay.
We still have a political party, and granted, it may not be most, but there's a good chunk of the Republican Party that wants to turn this country into pretty much the Christian version of Saudi Arabia.
No, they don't. That's garbage.
That's
It
not
wouldn't
fucking
even
garbage.
be, it wouldn't
That,
be even
that's a bit
remotely
of a,
equivalent.
that was a bit of hyper.
I just shared the video.
That'll be a bit.
No.
That's a bit hyperbolic.
We are talking about the same Republican Party that is about to nominate an atheist. Someone who is not even fucking Christian. Someone who is not coasting by on being a proud evangelical.
I don't necessarily think Trump is an atheist. He's certainly not a practicing Christian.
Yeah, he's not
But
religious.
we can't be in his mind. He might be like a non-practicing Christian. He's definitely not very religious at all, as you could tell from the 2 Corinthians. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a Christian. I'm not saying he's not a Christian, or I'm not saying he's not an atheist. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's not an atheist. I'm just saying we can't really know that.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Continue.
Go ahead, Ranger.
No, I made my point. You were saying something.
I was saying.
Do you not see how it's kind of silly to be like, okay, this is our example of Christianity gone awry. The Republican Party. I'm trying to get in your head here.
Yeah, Reese, or not Reese, Ranger. You can't really say that a party that wants to ban gay marriage and a group of people that want to blow you up or behead you or kill you are equivalent.
I never said they were.
Okay.
But you insist on bringing them up in the same conversation because they're toxic religions.
Yeah.
See, and you're going to tell me that there's no equivalence there? There's no equivalence implied?
Please, unless you hear me say, I think these are equal, that's not what I mean.
Well, that's not how conversation works.
Yeah.
And even if that's not what you mean, there's no reason to bring them up in the same conversation.
Well, I see what you mean, Reese, but when we launched our series, it was, I mean, I don't know about bringing them up in the same conversation. All right, hold on. Let me organize myself. I want to talk about bringing them up in the same conversation. When we launched our series, we're not saying this set of ideas has an equal effect on the world. What we're saying is these sets of ideas are comparable as a set of ideas and a set of ideas alone.
I don't even agree with that.
Okay. Why?
That was something I was actually disagreeing with earlier. I think that on paper, If you take Christianity to the letter, and I agree that it has a very true violent interpretation, but I don't even think it holds a candle to the violence that Islam has inspired
I'm
and what
not.
it calls for.
That's not exactly what I meant. I'm not saying they're even equal as a set of ideas. I'm saying they're comparable as a set of ideas, i.e., they have a similar type of creation. They have a similar type of idea behind them, like central idea. Like that. That's what we're
I don't
saying.
agree with that.
Okay.
See, what do you mean by comparable? Because the central ideas, I think, in the Bible
No, I
and the
mean like
Quran
the
are
central.
extremely different.
I mean extremely. Like I'm talking core ideas. Like you are the creation of a super powerful being. That's what I mean.
I mean, at that point, you could compare any religion to another, and that would be
But
even more
I'm also talking
disingenuous.
about the common history as well. Like these are both Abrahamic religions. These are both the God of Abraham. So they're even comparable on not a word for word, but a sort of literary level.
Yeah, but at that point, the conversation really loses all meaning. You could
That's all we're
compare
saying.
you could compare any two books, regardless of their content, and say these are similar because they're books.
Well, no, we're talking about like specifics of the set of ideas. Like you are the son of this specific God, and they have that in common, and they have that common history, and to say that these historically and as a set of ideas are roughly comparable, and we're going to cover them parallel. Not say they're equivalent at all. Like not comment on the quality of these ideas at all. Just say that they're roughly comparable, and we're going to cover these separately, but like equally.
Look, I don't have an issue with that, but I think that the coverage should reflect the extreme differences. I don't even agree that it's the same God. I think that Muhammad, when he was setting up his religion, he wanted it more to be a political system and took elements from existing religions because it's a lot easier than just coming up with your own shit.
I mean, I'm not saying these ideas are equal. I'm just trying to bring about our justification for covering these parallel.
And look, that's fine. Look, see, I don't have any issue with covering multiple things at the same time. I have an issue with bringing them up in the same conversation and trying to compare them, like trying to say things like you were saying earlier in the stream. Okay, here's our examples of Christian extremists: Steve Anderson and Theodore Schubert, that guy.
Yes.
Like that's weak. That's lame. Like this is really it. This is what we have devolved to. It just seems like a waste of time. We have actual problems in the world.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead.
Who, Ranger or me?
Ranger hasn't talked for a while.
Okay.
No, I was just say, as far as Steve, yeah, I'm not. Again, never made the comparison. I never said that Steve Anderson is equal to ISIS, but I do have a problem with them preaching terrorism in my country, regardless if they do it or not.
Okay, see, I didn't say I liked the guy, but you called him an extremist. He's not an extremist. What does extremist mean to you?
That I actually brought that up earlier in the stream as well, or maybe it was in a different stream, but I brought that up.
He's a nut job who no one takes seriously.
Yeah, but never mind.
No, I mean that's just what I don't like about him. He's preaching terrorism in my country.
Okay. Why have you narrowed the focus to just your country?
Because it's where I live.
Does that not seem a little selfish or ignorant to the rest of the world to you?
Well, it depends on yeah. Sorry, I was meaning to respond to your first question.
No, go on. Go on.
Like, sorry, never mind. I can't articulate it right now.
Yeah, damn it. You guys need a stream. I'm having to look at Twitter now. Jesus, we had to make our own stream.
I think our conversation is like.
Yeah, we're just
yeah, we're going in circles.
Yeah, I think you well, see, that's the thing. If I had had some other guys from the panel in here, there probably would be some more disagreement. Like let's take for instance something that was said in the stream. Quiet Atheist said that Christianity and Islam were the same, and it all had to do with interpretation. I mean, these are strict religions and ideologies that were designed to control populations. To act like we can have some Reza Aslan bullshit, oh, just choose your own path about this, is just not true. These religions, I don't care what religious person tells you that. Religions have one true interpretation. And to act like that's not clearly spelled out is dishonest. We could sit here all day and say, what does kill the Jew mean? I'm sure there's some deeper meaning to this. No. Not particularly. I doubt that the goat fucker Muhammad was speaking in parables and similes.
I prefer the
and
term
shit.
pig fucker. Just saying.
Pig fucker. I was going for goat because that sounds more racist, and everyone
Okay.
knows that I'm an extreme Islamophobe.
Yes, you are. You're awful, Reese. You're absolutely terrible.
You have no idea how often I hear it.
I mean, doesn't it make sense to be an Islam? I might not be the first one to bring this up, but doesn't it make sense to be an Islamophobe? It's like, shouldn't we be afraid of this side of ideas? It seems pretty scary to me. You know, we're killing people for adultery and being gay.
I'm terrified. And the funny thing is that Islamophobia isn't even a real thing. Like, to be bigoted against an ideology that'd be like saying you're neo-Nazi phobic or some shit. Like that.
No,
that doesn't
it's
make
even
fucking
worse than
sense.
that. It's like you're saying you're neo-Nazism phobic.
Oh yeah, of
It's
course.
yeah, it's akin to saying, well, yeah, of course I am.
And
it doesn't make any sense.
There's this outrage that like Muslims will get upset at you, like, oh, how dare you assume this about me? How dare you judge me on the religion that I chose to follow out of my own volition? I can judge people on their life choices. I can judge people on what they believe and who they choose to associate with. And it's just an unrealistic expectation of the world. If you dress a certain way, if you have these fucked up beliefs, then I'm sorry, you've been judged.
Yeah.
And it happens. I don't know. We kind of hit a rock. I'm not really sure where to go from there.
Yeah.
I do look forward to seeing you on Islam is Cancer tomorrow.
Oh, come on. No
Yeah.
issue there. Islam is cancer.
I was sort of judging how you feel about me on your comments section, so I was like, I wasn't sure, should I invite this guy on? Because when I watched that series, it was like the of course guests were Logic Tree, you and Hagbard, Kraut and T if I could get him, and so now you're. I just thought this whole thing was a perfect opportunity to invite you on Islam is Cancer. So.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's really all in good fun. I don't really hate anyone. Even Black
I wasn't
Pigeon
being.
speaks, so I told him.
Good.
I think we're having
Hello?
internet issues. Yeah, I think we're having some internet issues, but we're fine now.
Okay.
You were saying?
Yeah, you were saying.
Oh no, it's all in good fun. But at the same time, I think it's important and I've always been more interested in calling out bad ideas within communities I travel in, circles I travel in, and people who I probably agree a lot with, and there might be this one thing sticking out. I think that's more interesting to me. And it's important because I have very high expectations of people who call themselves atheists. I think it's important for them to understand what they're up against.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And I want to bring up
I
one
feel
more thing.
like somebody don't.
I want to bring up one more thing. You brought up in your response video that something about like when you go after Islam, are you just going to go after what the imams are teaching, or are you going to go into depth about the Pew Research polls? And then you like did some like insulting, like, oh, that hurts, doesn't it, or something along those lines. And I want to know exactly what you meant by that, because what on a series like Islam is Cancer and the way we talk about it, what would make sense about bringing up Pew Research polls? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? It's like, oh, the number is this, and then that's where the conversation ends.
I think we need to get to the point where, and it's a terrifying thing, but we need to get to the point where we're comfortable talking about it honestly, because I don't buy into this bullshit. Oh, most Muslims are peaceful, moderate, good people. That's just not true.
It's simply not true. I agree with that. It's just like, why, what in the way we're covering Islam, what would make sense about going after the Pew Research polls when in the style we do, we debate with someone, we respond to someone. So how would we respond to a Pew Research poll as opposed to what the imams are teaching?
Okay, here's an example. So we were talking in the stream I did with Ranger. We were talking, and the topic of letting in Muslim refugees came up. Sorry, I'm coughing over here. That's very professional. So that comes up, and I bring up this point that it's probably not good for your culture to bring in people who are so ideologically opposed to you on things that we value. And Ranger made the point. He brought it up, but most of them are peaceful. They're not violent. Completely missing the point. And indeed, it's more insidious than that. That's the scary thing. These people don't have to be violent to negatively affect your culture and actually really fuck up your country. Just look at the example I raised was London has a 12% Muslim population and just elected their first Muslim mayor who has very pro-refugee standing, who's just going to bring in more refugees and secure a line of success for himself and other Muslim mayors in that city. They utilize democracy against the citizens.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It's just when I omit things like Pew Research polls from my show, it's purely because I don't think the format allows me to talk about that.
Look, that's fine. That's fine. But I think it's important to acknowledge that because we can get caught up in thinking, oh, it's just a bunch of crazy imams. It's just like Christianity. There's some crazy preacher. And I think when we do that, when we place too much importance on that, we don't give the followers of that religion autonomy, and we don't give them agency. The average Muslim is beyond fucked up, and that is important to acknowledge. That has a very real-world effect.
And we do acknowledge
and
that. It's
people
just
don't
like,
want to
I
say
can't
that
argue.
Because they'll call you a bigot.
I can't. Yeah, and I do acknowledge that. I think that's a problem. It's just when I can't talk about that because when I argue, I have to have someone sitting down in front of me and arguing with me, and I can't really do that with a nameless Muslim that's not sitting down and arguing with me, which is why we have our format of responding to what individuals are saying.
Yeah, this was something that came up, I think at some point during the stream. I don't even think I raised it. I think Eve Real brought it up, but that
Seems nice.
America, nature of America, was possible under Christianity. Yeah, she was fine. That was the first time.
Hello?
Hello? You there?
I think we're having another connection issue. This is so weird. I've never... What's happening right now is I'm thinking, if it's not making sense, it's because I'm thinking of a sentence, formulating a sentence, and then my brain shuts off all the context. Okay, then. Hello?
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
We were having connection issues.
Yeah, I'm here.
We back? Can we hear Atheist Ranger?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you both.
Okay. Can you repeat what you just said? Because it lagged pretty hard.
I'm sorry
and I
about
started
that.
going on a tangent. You're not going to repeat it? We're just going to be left in the dark?
Oh, wait. Wait.
Yes, you. Can you repeat everything you just said? Because we
Who's
couldn't hear
repeating
you.
what?
Nightmare Field Podcast
Okay.
is repeating what he just said.
Okay. I was saying, we were making the point, it's a very interesting point, that the secular nature of America would not have been able to rise under Islam, as opposed to people who happen to be Christians at the found. And I think that's a very good way to view which religion is more of a problem, and not even just dangerous, more of a problem politically. And I think that was a good point to bring up in terms of where our priorities are. But I can't take full credit for that because Evril came up with that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I think this conversation has run its course. We can I think we should probably end now.
Yeah. But as always, like I do, y'all want to plug something? Go ahead.
Check out Islam is Cancer tomorrow. Reese is gonna be on it. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah. I will come in. I will bring the fire.
I hope.
I
Reese,
always
go
do.
ahead. I'm sure you want to plug something.
Oh, we're ending? Okay.
No, I'm saying, do you want to plug something before I go off air?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys. I hope we sorted something out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see y'all later.